Welcome back, everybody. We just talked about in the last video the number one violation of expected value and utility, which is how we treat losses and gains differently. Now we're going to look at the second violation potentially. Let's see how we do in our own decision making. Here is decision number one. I'm going to give you the option between A or B. A has a payout of $520,000 with a probability of 61%. Letter B is 500,000 with a probability of 63%. Okay, so which one would you choose based on these two options? Next, and I already see which one I know or I would like, but I'm going to write out decision B here, or decision number two, sorry. And decision A gives us 520,000 with a 98% chance and 500,000 with a 100% chance. Now, take a look at number two and make your decision here. Which one do you think you would choose? So, and I teach this and I go through this and I go, what would I really do in real life? And I'm going A, when that's proposed in number one. And my rationale behind that is I want the extra $20,000 and I'm willing to give up. It's only 2%, right? I'm only going to give up 2% for the extra money. And so what's the difference? So I'm going to just stay here with 520 and I'll take the lower percentage and I'm going A. In number two, the same thing is proposed, same numbers, the extra 2%. Suddenly I go, wait a minute. I'm not going to risk it. I want a guaranteed $500,000. Why would I risk a 2% chance of walking away with nothing for an extra $20,000? So now, can you see the inconsistency of this? And this is what the majority of people will do anytime we test this. And it should be noted, just so we're all clear, this is called the Allais Paradox. This is out of France. And we can see there, for both decisions, we're essentially giving up $20,000 of payout for an additional 2%. And that's fine. So if we're using our expected value function or our expected utility function, based on these, we should at least be consistent. If we're more risk averse, hey, we should choose B in both. If we're risk seeking, we should choose A in both. But we shouldn't flip flop our answers. And that's what this Allais paradox found out, that the second violation that we use in our decision making that contradicts our utility function is framing. How things are framed affects our decision. So there's our takeaway. Framing affects our decision making. And we become inconsistent decision makers. And I'm not apologizing for that, because if I was actually given the automatic $500,000, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to put it up for risk. But I do have to recognize that I'm going to be inconsistent here, because I am willing to do that when it's 61 or 63. And so when we come back to prospect theory, we're going to do a deeper dive. But just start to notice in your own world, when we're looking at framing decisions, how we frame it, does it affect our decision making? So if we're buying some meat at the store, some ground beef in a US supermarket, and it says 80% fat free, it's framing it in a way that is positive. Hey, look at it's fat free. They're not saying, hey, this meat is 20% fat that will ooze off into your pan as you cook it. And so you see, there's framing all around us. And that's what makes us violate some of our expected utility as well, and in other decisions in our lives. When we come back, we are going to do our third violation of expected utility. And that is our final one before we move into our final phase of this introductory section. We'll see you next time.